Whether you agree with her or not, there is no real dispute that Nancy Pelosi is the most powerful woman in the history of American politics. After a nearly 4-decade-long career in Congress, Pelosi will retire from the House after this term is up. We caught up with her in Georgetown to take a look at her remarkable career and to discuss her advice to Democrats going forward. The conversation starts with a look back at her very first campaign. I want to go back to the very beginning, 1987. Mm-hmm. You ran in a very crowded primary to represent San Francisco in Congress. It was close. That race was close. What was that like?
Well, it was not any closer than we had anticipated. There were 4 elected officials in the race, and I had never run for public office and the rest. But I'm a big believer, and that's my Baltimore experience too, is you have to own the ground to win the election.
And ABC News interviewed you the day before the primary.
I see it as a race to represent San Francisco, and I think the issue in the campaign is who can do that job best. Effectiveness is the issue.
Your slogan at that time, as you remember, Nancy Pelosi, a voice that will be heard.
It's funny, isn't it? Isn't that funny? That I would become Speaker of the House, and of course my voice would be heard, but I never thought of that.
Along the way, Pelosi became the first woman to serve as party whip and the first woman to be minority leader.
Yeah, as you know, I'm not finished yet. I've been waiting over 200 years.
And in 2007, the first woman to hold the Speaker's gavel.
The House will come to order. I actually never intended to run for leadership. That's what's so funny about this, because I love my committees, appropriations, intelligence. I have 30 years of intelligence while I'm there. And then we lost in 94, 96, 98, and then it's coming up to 2000. I said, you know, being a party chair, I know how to win elections, and I'm just tired of losing.
I want to talk about your relationship with Trump, because there were some real defining moments and certainly some defining images. I mean, you stood up to him and his team in the cabinet room. Yeah. There was the you're ripping up his speech in the State of the Union address. The Oval Office meeting with you and Chuck Schumer, where you really get into it with him. What is your advice to Democrats on how to handle Trump?
Well, let me just say this first. All of those incidents you mentioned were spontaneous. Yeah. We went to the cabinet room to have a meeting, leadership and the leadership of the executive branch on security and the rest, and it was a horrible meeting. I think those people must have been embarrassed. If you look at the picture when I'm looking at them, they've got their heads down.
Yeah, you see General Milley's kind of looking down.
But you know what I'm saying when I go out the door?
What?
I'm leaving here because I've had it with you, Mr. President. With you, all roads lead to Putin.
And they put that picture out.
Yeah. We're not even allowed to.
They put that picture out and said, "Crazy Nancy's unhinged," or whatever they said.
No, they did me a big favor. It was I get more requests to sign that picture. People like the tearing up of the speech. I didn't intend to go to speech to tear it up, but the first part of it, I tore a page because he was lying, and then the next page, and then the next page. And I thought it was a manifesto of lies all throughout. So I better just tear up the whole speech. Now, the speeches are on strong paper. They're on, so you have to do it a few times to get it done. But I had no intention of doing it. I thought my staff was going to die.
But throughout all that, was there ever a moment where you thought you could actually work with Donald Trump?
Yeah, of course. I mean, when we have an election, elections are elections. You respect the results, and we try to work together.
So if the Democrats win the House back?
Yeah. No. When? Okay. When the Democrats win the House back, then we will.
So how does the next Democratic Speaker of the House deal with Donald Trump? What would be your advice? You've been there, you've done it.
Just do your own thing. Just be yourself. Hakeem Jeffries is ready. He's eloquent. He's respected by the members. He's a unifier, and he will have.
You have no doubt it'll be Hakeem Jeffries.
None.
And I mean, do they go into investigations? Do you have more impeachment, another impeachment round, or do you try to deal with him and get something done on all the other issues?
get something done with him on all the other issues?
Yeah.
Well, I think what you do is, it's hard to get something that he will sign because of the problem that he has. But you can hold up some of the things that they may put forth.
So
of course, they have the power of the purse.
Yeah.
We have the power of the purse. He cannot. But right now, the Republicans in the Congress have abolished the Congress. They just do what the president insists that they do. That will be over.
So that ends as soon as you have a Democratic
That ends as soon as we have the gavel. I'm not, in terms of impeachment, unless you have I've said to people, the one person who was responsible for the impeachments of Donald Trump is Donald Trump. It's not something you decide to do. It's what violation of the Constitution he engages in. So that's not something you say, oh, we're going to impeach him. Well, but you can have the power of subpoena to get information from these agencies of government who are not supplying any information.
You had many highs as Speaker. The darkest day must have been January 6th.
Absolutely.
And amazingly, your daughter Alexandra is with you.
She was there. She took her sons because she wanted them to witness history. She took them when they were little babies to the day we passed the Affordable Care Act. And then this was going to be, she witnessed history, the certification of the Electoral College is a big deal. It's a historic occasion. So that's why she was there.
She was there, and she's always got a camera with her.
She always has a camera. That's a different story. It's almost attached to her.
The remarkable footage her daughter Alexandra captured featured in the 2022 HBO documentary, Pelosi in the House. She is there right with you as you are whisked out of the Capitol. The leadership is being evacuated. The documentary captures the intensity of the day.
There are people with guns trying to get into the House chamber.
As Speaker Pelosi pleads with military leaders to send in the National Guard.
Just pretend for a moment it was the Pentagon or the White House.
What's going through your head? I mean, we see the pictures. We see the anguish. We see what's happening to the Capitol. What's going through your head?
Well, it was clear that the President of the United States had incited an insurrection, and we begged him to send the National Guard. Typical of him, he never represents the truth. He said, I was going to send it, but they didn't want it. Get out of here. Even Mitch McConnell was on the phone with us saying, get them here right away. Yeah. But they never sent them. This was one of the sad things. January 6th was really sad of itself, but the sorrow of it also springs from the fact that this president is trying to rewrite history, have a different narrative of what happened that day. And what I saw that day was these people coming in. They were going to have a bullet in my F-word head, and they were going to hang a noose for the Vice President of the United States. They had Confederate flags under Lincoln's dome, the dome that Lincoln built. They're in there, they're defecating on the floor, they're insulting the people who make the Capitol nice, and of course, they beat up the police. And he's trying to convince the American people, and his toadies that go along with him are subscribing to that. And that's why we just cannot let that happen. That's what happened that day was horrible. It was an assault on the Capitol, the symbol of democracy to the world. It was an assault on the Congress, the day we honored our responsibility under the Constitution to certify the Electoral College, who was elected president. It was an assault on the Constitution of the United States. It was horrible.
And we see what happened. They break into your office, they break things, they steal things. Yeah. They're trying to find you. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And when you, Alexandra, once again, your daughter is with you when you come back into the Capitol, and you said something. You said,
I just feel sick at what he did to the Capitol and to the country today. He's got to pay a price for that.
Has he paid a price for it?
No, he's the President of the United States now. But he'll pay a price in history. What really was bothering me at that time was, I'm respectful of the office of Speaker, and I'm sorry that things got broken, but what I was really concerned about was the trauma it caused for the members of Congress, our staff, but everyone's staff. Everyone's staff. When I came back from the undisclosed location, we went to the Ways and Means room, I saw the staff, what I saw in their eyes, I will never forgive them for that, because they are idealistic young people come to the Capitol of both parties to be part of making progress for our people. And this happened, and he's freeing them from response. Now he wants to give them retribution. It's crazy.
You said something, there's an effort to rewrite history. For tens of millions of people in this country, that has been successful. They believe in alternative reality of what's happened.
What happened stands, but our country cannot withstand an assault on the Capitol, the Congress, the Constitution, and the rest, and let that happen. And I was very proud of our January 6th committee, the work that they did with clarity, with patriotism, and the rest. They were wonderful. They were wonderful.
How do you want to be remembered?
Not so fast. I'm still here. Well, I'm very proud of the Affordable Care Act. I think that it just made a big change in terms of what working families need for their health and their financial health. We'll continue to have that fight. It's not a value that is shared with the Republicans. The health care bill was a way of not only meeting health needs, but financial needs of families. So if I were to be remembered for one thing, it would be the Affordable Care Act.
What's next for Nancy Pelosi? What do you do now?
Well, we'll see. I've got many overtures, but I'm busy. I'm busy and focused on winning the House for the Democrats, making Hakeem Jeffrey the Speaker of the House, and to take us to a better place. And I'm a very prayerful person. I wear these bracelets. I believe that if you have faith in the goodness of the American people, faith and love, that gives people hope. The American people are good and beautiful people. Some of them have their, shall we say, challenges in terms of respect for other people. But by and large, the American people are good people. And I would like to see us take us back to a place where governance and politics understand that. So what's next for me is whatever I do, in addition to winning the House for the Democrats, is that we try to take the discussion to a place that believes in the goodness of the American people, that gives them hope.
Our thanks to Nancy Pelosi for that.